go. This should work. Would you look at that? We're going to film. Hold on. There you go, that'll do. We're going to film the Q&A. For anyone that doesn't know, I put a post on Instagram the other week asking you guys to ask me some questions for a Q&A. A little bit of a chance for you to get some more information about me and an opportunity for me to just talk to the camera and just make a raw video answering questions that you guys might have. So we're going to dive into this. We're not going to do any crazy fancy edits. We're just going to put a video up and see how it goes, and I'm just going to wing it. Okay, so I shall load up the post. I shall also tag my Instagram and my social media within this video, so if you do want to get involved in anything like this in the future, you can do. So, very exciting. So I haven't actually planned the questions that I'm going to ask. I'm just going to sort of scroll through them, read them out, and just sort of answer them as we go. There is a lot on there. We've had sort of like 50 odd questions, so it'd be interesting to answer some of those. So let's get going. Cool, so this is a good one to start with, I think. It says, congratulations on becoming a full-time online coach. Thank you very much. But how did it all start, and what's the story behind Team Fitness with Lewis? So I started around about 6 years ago. I first competed when I was 18. That's when I first started personal training in the gym, and that's when I first got into the kind of fitness industry scene. Didn't really know much about it, didn't know what was going on or anything. I just kind of did my own thing. And it was about 5 years ago that I actually started online coaching. So taking my first online clients, and they were just lifestyle clients that I felt like I could help and benefit. And we just kind of went from there. Now 5 years later, I've competed in a lot more shows, which undoubtedly has helped my business. But more importantly, I've got a lot more results with hundreds of clients, which again has massively sort of put my business at the point that it is now and allowed me to sort of grow to the point where I am a full-time online coach. So it's been around about 5 years in the making of me creating the team, or Fitness with Lewis. So something I'm quite proud of, and it has grown phenomenally. So anyone that follows me on Instagram will see these. How do you set up your clients' nutrition and training if they, how do you set up your clients' nutrition and training in the morning before eating a meal? So if you train fasted, either I would give you more food at the end of the previous day to allow you to be appropriately fueled for that training day. Alternatively, sometimes I would give like a pre or intra-workout shake that would have some carbs or some protein in to stimulate NPS, but usually I would give them a bigger meal towards the end of the day to appropriately fuel them. And it still works, you can train fasted, that is no biggie. How do you balance being on social media and your personal life? I try to only make my social media about what I do in terms of being in the fitness industry. So I don't really put much of my my personal life on there. I don't put my family life on there. I try to only make it about that, so that when I want to switch off, I can literally just turn my phone off and I can crack on with normal life. And I have that balance. If I do want to go into like more social media stuff, I've got my phone. But if I want to get away from it, I can just put that down, and then the two are not merged. I keep them very, very separate, which is good. What are your personal goals for 2021? So it depends very much on what happens this year. For anyone that might know, or follows me on social media, they'll know, but for anyone who doesn't know, I am competing in 6 weeks' time, well, it'll be 6 weeks' time on Saturday, in the Two Bros British Finals in Classic, so not too far away from that. And depending on what happens that year will dictate what my goals will be physique-wise for 2021. So if I don't do very well, which there's a chance I won't, then it'll show that I need to improve in 2021 and come back either late 2021 or 2022. If I do very well, and let's just say hypothetically speaking, that I won, then I would need to definitely add a lot of muscle to be able to be competitive in the Pro League. I'm definitely not pro standard yet, so that would be something that we would need to do. So that's physique-wise. Business-wise, kind of carry on what we're already doing in terms of growing the team, be able to grow Fitness with Lewis to take on more clients, to help on more people, but still be able to offer the quality that we do. And there are more goals, but I'm not going to share them yet. They are under wraps, so we shall see. And focus more on YouTube and things like that, avenues that I haven't kind of focused on much. Tips for being a first-time competitor. So my first tip would be find a coach. I believe that it is very hard to judge your own physique correctly. Some people have the ability to do it, and credit to them, that's amazing. But I do think that, and me myself, I find it hard to judge that. Find someone that's been in that game and that you trust, so that you takes a lot of stress out of it, and you know you're going to be able to get honest feedback on being where you need to get. The second thing would be prepared financially, because it is expensive. Be prepared to be knackered, because it is hard work, and make sure that you're in a position with your job to allow the time to dedicate to it, because it does take up a lot of time, and expect it to be harder than what you think it would be, so that it doesn't sort of shock you. But if you really want to do it, you'll be able to do it. Your opinion on push-pull legs versus a bro split. So I think both can be effective. I think that for the majority of people, or more people, could potentially benefit from a push-pull leg split, but some people there would be a need and they would benefit massively from a bro split. It depends on the individual, and it depends on their training capabilities and the time that they allow, and also their bodies and how it works. But both can be effective massively, and I preach this. Depends on what you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy a push-pull leg split and you hate it, you literally hate it, and you've tried it loads of times, then don't do it, because you need to be training in a way that you enjoy, because that is what this whole thing is about, massively enjoyment. What's your thoughts on keto diets versus carb diets? My thoughts personally are that I would never do a keto diet. I probably wouldn't recommend a client to do keto diets unless it is sort of small circumstances or unfamiliar, or like rare circumstances. Then I would recommend it. But majority of people like carbs. Carbs benefit you. They are the main source of energy, or the body's preferred source, so they should be eaten. How to stay positive and keep progressing. I think it's important to map out where you want to be and constantly remind yourself of the overall goal. For me to stay positive, I think of where I want to be and how far I've come to get closer to that. That allows me to look back and think, I've done so well already, like, let's just keep pushing. And that also allows me to continue to progress. So it would be to focus on what you want to create goal-wise, but also just remind yourself regularly of what you've done already. What inspired you to be a coach, and what is the hardest bit about doing your job? Initially, it was the changes that I saw in my own physique, in terms of when I started to see my own physique develop, that feeling that I got of progression and getting better made me want to be able to sort of give that to other people on a wider scale. So that's where the sort of initial passion fueled from. I think that the hardest bit for me personally would be switching off, because I do care a hell of a lot about all of my clients. I'm still responding to them at silly times at night. When I'm meant to be doing other things, I do struggle to switch off in terms of like knowing when enough is enough. So sometimes I care a little bit too much. What are your go-to supplements and why they're important? You don't need supplements. Supplements aren't something that you would need, but if I was to give basic supplements that I think that would benefit the majority of people, I would say whey protein. It's cheap, convenient, and it tastes really nice. I'm a massive fan of like cream of rice with whey or oats and whey, so whey protein is easy to use and it's cheap. Creatine, so that is one of the supplements that's been widely researched. We have a lot of science upon that, and based upon how much it is for the benefit you could potentially get, it's worth taking. So creatine will be on there. Basic health supplements, so like omega-3s or vitamin D3 or joint supplements, for the majority of people could help, but again, not essential. It depends on your financial position and also how seriously you take this, because supplements are great and they do benefit you, but they're not something that is needed. In Classic Physique, how far would you like to go if you win your pro card? I think everyone's answer to that is like the standard, like go to the Olympia, but I would, if I won my pro card, if I won it, then I think I'd be silly to say that I wouldn't want to go that far, because I think that's everyone's goal that wins a pro card. So that would definitely be that. So these are questions. Do you prefer getting cardio done on machines or out and about on the road? I prefer outdoors because I luckily live in a really nice place next to the sea, and it's nice and scenic, and I like that headspace. But sometimes there is a need for more intense cardio, and I would have to do it on a machine. It depends on what stage I am at. What keeps you motivated in such a hard industry? I would say mainly, to be honest, my clients. Knowing that I have to set a standard for those and that they're all doing so well keeps me on track and keeps me doing so well. I don't want to let them down as their coach. I want to be someone that they look up to, so it keeps me motivated and keeps me pushing. Best way to lean bulk. Don't overeat. Train really hard and monitor yourself closely, so that if you feel that you are getting too fat, you can pull back at any time. But a lot of people, when they bulk, they just sort of shove in loads of food. They use the whole I'm bulking so I can eat it mentality, when in reality they need to just make sure they're in a small surplus. Most people don't need as much food as what they probably think they need, and most people aren't training as hard as what they should be, which would keep them a lot leaner as well. How do you deal with post-show hunger to avoid excessive overeating? This one's hard actually. I've had experiences of like when I've finished the show going on all out binges for long time, just getting fat very quick. And I've also had experiences where I haven't felt the need to eat. I think it massively depends on how your prep goes. When I've had a good smooth prep, I'm usually happy just to continue to eat the foods that I'm eating, but a little bit more quantity. But the best way to do it would be to continue to stick on a plan and to stay accountable to a coach. Keeping that accountability there keeps you there. Setting a new goal, so basically finishing your show and saying, I want to achieve this now, and getting straight to that will keep you focused mentally. And also adding in a fair amount of calories so that your meals are noticeably bigger, and therefore you feel happy and content almost with the food that you're eating. It is hard anyway, no matter how much food you put in. You're still going to be starving, but you just need to stay consistent. What is the most random question a client has asked you about their nutrition plan? So this is years ago, so I can cover this. I wouldn't say anything bad about any of my current clients, but I had a client years ago, and their post-workout meal was things like some whey protein anyway, I can't remember how much, and then they had bagels, cinnamon raisin bagels and jam. And because I didn't write on their plan to mix the whey protein with water and drink it, they asked me if they should be either eating the whey protein with a spoon or they should be sprinkling it over the top of their bagels. So they wanted whey protein sprinkled cinnamon and raisin bagels, which it was actually a serious question. Very good. Would you decline working with a potential new client, and why? Yes, I would. I feel that not everyone is suited towards me as a coach. Not everyone is ready for a coach and ready to achieve their goals. I always have a chat with new clients, and depending on what we speak about and their application, lets me know whether or not I feel that I'm right for them, they're right for me, and they're ready for the process. If they're not in a position to be ready, I often decline them. If I don't feel like they're serious enough, I'll decline them. Or if I don't feel like our mentalities link, then again, I will decline them. It just depends on the person. What superhero would you be and why? My favourite, like anyone that knows me knows I'm a massive Marvel geek. I love Marvel. So if I could be any my favourite Marvel superhero for sure is Iron Man. Iron Man is just like absolutely freaking epic. Like he's the boy, man. So if I could, I would be Iron Man. Then I would also be extremely intelligent and rich, which would be ideal as well. So that would be cool. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? Who knows? I don't know. Within this industry, definitely. But things are always changing, and I don't like to make a plan that far in advance because there is a lot that can change. I like to make smaller, manageable goals that will eventually lead to a big plan in 10 years. So to be honest, I don't actually know. Would you ever open your own gym? We shall see. Who knows? Who knows? Would heavy leg pressing be considered better than doing heavy barbell squats? That again, based upon the individual. Both are great exercises. There's need for both sometimes, and depending on how you perform both or where that client is at, either or really. What is your go-to cheat meal? My go-to cheat meal, this is easy, I'm simple. Me and the missus, when we get a cheat meal, this is what we have. We usually order a pizza, so we order usually like a Domino's. I'm simple, by the way, so don't judge me. Texas barbecue Domino's, half and half with like a meaty kind of Domino's. She's the same, she has fantastic taste as well. And then for dessert, I am a cookie man. I am a cookie man. So I will smash some warm cookies and some Ben and Jerry's. So just like pizza, cookies and Ben and Jerry's. That is for me like heaven. What's more important, adding weight to the bar or mind to muscle connection, feeling the correct contraction? So initially, the mind to muscle connection is so important. That is more important to get that established first than adding any weight to the bar. If you don't do that and don't have that and you're just adding weight, your progress isn't going to go very far. So initially, you should develop a very good mind to muscle connection with each exercise and then look to progress in terms of weight or reps. And I think that is all we need to answer. I don't want to make this too long because it's a quick video and I don't want people to feel like they have to watch the whole thing and be dragging. So we will end it there, but there is more content coming very, very soon. Full days of eating. Gyms are open now, so we're going to be doing training footage. We are going to train at Ultraflex Rotherham, I think, on Saturday, so we will film that and I can get that on a YouTube video. Full days of eating, and hopefully I can closely document the rest of my prep. But as always, I put it on my stories on IG, so if you do want to see it, head over to my IG, you'll see it all on there, all the times, always updates. And I hope you enjoyed the Q&A. Thank you very much for anyone that has watched. Don't know if people will, hopefully they do. and I shall catch you guys in the next video, which will be some sort of eating or training, hopefully. Thank you very much for everyone that asked questions as well. It's been a good video, hopefully.